y'all, welcome back to my channel. So if you didn't know, I am transgender, and in today's video I wanted to kind of use that as a talking point. Hopefully this will answer some questions or help someone else accept that they are trans, or if you're a friend of someone who's trans, learn to accept that person as they are and realize that, it's not a choice. Most of my friends and family are all cisgender, and that means that they are not trans. I am probably the only person a lot of them know that is transgender. So I reached out on Facebook and I said, hey, if you have any questions, just message me. I'm an open book. But I feel like instead of just telling everyone what I think is important and what's important to me, to reach out to another community and find out what they're thinking, what they want to know, what they're having trouble understanding, and hopefully I can shed some light on those issues. So I'm not going to name anybody because I feel like that's an invasion of privacy, so I'm just going to read off what people said. So, first question. This is a big one. What made you realize you were not meant to be a guy? Like, have you always felt that way, or was it like a sudden realization, or what? Okay, so I want to do an entire video at some point about how I realized that I was transgender, because I think that could really help someone. But, short version, I did not always know. I mean, growing up, I always gravitated towards girl stuff. I hung out with girls, I played with dolls, the whole 9 yards. But again, that doesn't mean that you're transgender, that's just gender nonconformity. A lot of kids do that. Whenever someone, my father, would call me son or refer to me with that word, it made me extremely uncomfortable. And I couldn't figure out why. Like, why does the word son bother me so much? And it wasn't until, obviously, I realized I was trans. I was like, hey, that kind of makes sense. Obviously, I didn't like the word son because I wasn't his son. I was his daughter. And, putting the pieces together now, things are a lot more clear. But it was never like, oh, I knew from the moment I was born. No, because I didn't have the words for it. I thought transgender people were just like sex workers or porn stars or the butt of a joke in a movie, because that's all that's out there. That's all that people see about trans people, at least when I was growing up. And I knew I wasn't those things, so I couldn't be trans, right? And yeah, but here we are. So, sad story, I think that's why kids are transitioning at an earlier age now and realizing who they are, because there is more information and people actually do know what transgender is and they can find the words to express the way that they feel. Because looking back, if I had had the knowledge and the role models to see and to look up to, I probably would have realized it a hell of a lot sooner. So it's all about what you're exposed to and normalizing it so that other kids aren't scared to or accept who they are. When I saw other people sharing their stories and how they realized it, it was like it clicked. It was like, oh, my entire past, all the feelings that I felt before completely make sense now, and I actually have a word for what I am. And that's when my transition started. So it was a mixture. It was kind of a sudden realization, but it was more of a sudden realization to really study and research and look back at my own experiences and have an aha moment, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was really rambly, and that was a long-ass first question. Why didn't you change your name? I didn't change my name. It's Ryan, obviously, because I never had any bad feelings with it, any bad associations with it. I think guy names on girls are cute, and it can kind of go either way. I know more girls named Ryan personally than I do guys, so I wanted to keep it. I did change my first name because I always freaking hated it, which is another clue. It was a very masculine name, and looking back again, obviously I didn't like a masculine name because I wasn't a masculine person. Is there anything you would do differently regarding your transition? Yeah, I think if I had been exposed to people, backstory, I went to a Christian school, Christian college, I did not know anybody trans, I hardly knew anybody gay. So if I had been exposed to things earlier in life and I could have started figuring myself out earlier and started my transition earlier, then I would have. So my biggest regret is not realizing it until college, because I could have been so much farther along and I could have been happier for a lot longer instead of feeling like I was broken for years, if that makes sense. I felt defective. How does it make you feel when people say being transgender is a mental illness? I said that really southern. Okay, well, I mean, obviously it makes me feel like shit. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Somebody saying, hey, you're insane, that's shitty, and it shouldn't be the case, you know? And this goes back to people are always going to hate what they don't understand. It's easier for them to classify being transgender as a mental illness. That way they don't have to try to understand it. They can just say, oh, they're crazy. Oh, you think you're a duck. Oh, you think you're a cow. You know, just dumb comparisons like that. There is science behind being trans. It has been proven that transgender people have brain differences from cisgender people. That rolls out being a choice, literally born this way. And, you know, homosexuality, I cannot talk today, was seen as a mental illness for years, and it wasn't until pretty damn recently, but it's not. So I think history just has to catch up and all will be fine. But yes, it makes me feel like shit, but I don't let it bother me because I know that they're just trying to tear down something that they don't have the, you know, IQ to comprehend or research. Because it's all out there. It's all on the internet. By scholars, not by people flipping burgers at McDonald's. Like the people who say it's a mental illness. Funny. That was really long-winded. What's the most annoying way that someone has reacted to you telling them that you are transgender? Okay, well, it's happened several times. When somebody finds out or when I tell them that I'm trans and they go, oh, but you're so pretty. What does that have to do with being trans? Like, I appreciate that it's coming from a good place, and I appreciate that you're telling me that I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, whatever. But are you telling me that because I'm trans, or is it because I actually am? You know, that kind of fucks with your head. That's like, I imagine, when someone tells an African American girl, but you're so pretty for a black girl. Are black women not pretty? Are trans women not pretty? Like, it's a backhanded thing to say. You know, the mailman is outside and he's looking at me like I'm absolutely insane, so I'm going to pretend to be on my phone. Jesus. What's the most difficult part of being transgender? Okay, so you would think the most difficult part would be the hormones, the surgeries, telling all your friends and family and worrying that they'll abandon you or disown you or something like that. No. The worst part is just living day to day, like going out in public. I have really bad social anxiety anyway, I always have, but going out, especially when I was first starting my transition and it was pretty obvious that I was transgender, people would stare and sometimes they would laugh. But when you have social anxiety, or at least me, I would sit there and think and wonder, you know, why are people staring? Why are they laughing? And I would magnify. If one person was staring, suddenly I thought the entire room was. Or anytime somebody was talking and I couldn't hear, I thought they were talking about me. And sometimes I still feel that way. Like, even though I pass, I still feel that, and that's torture to not be able to feel comfortable anywhere because you're always on guard thinking, oh, this person knows, they're talking about me, I'm in danger. And, you know, like I said, I am in danger if the wrong person figures out. It's not like a superficial thing. Like, I'm here telling everybody that I am trans. I don't hide it, but I don't want people in public that I don't know to know that, because trans women get murdered all the time and I'd rather not be murdered. So yeah, that's the worst part. Assholes being assholes. Shocker. I was wondering how you reconcile being trans with your religion. So if you didn't know, I went to a Christian school and a Christian college. That's something to be ashamed of in a Christian society. You're not supposed to be gay, you're not supposed to be trans. Honestly, I went for a long time absolutely despising God and religion, and I wouldn't say that I'm super religious now, but I am in a good place, and I know that, God wouldn't create somebody a certain way just to send them to hell. And that's what I was always told. Gay people, trans people, they're going to burn in hell, abominations, blah, blah, blah. But the same books that condemn LGBT people in general and the people use against us also mention things that pretty much everybody does. And it's always come across as hypocritical to me why it's okay to have illegitimate, if I can talk, children, or to do drugs, or to be an alcoholic, or stuff like that. Why is that normal? Why is that accepted? And the only thing that I can figure out is that people can see themselves in those people. Like premarital sex, I'm sure tons of people have been tempted. So one little slip, they could have done it, and they probably feel pity for that person. But reverse that, how many people have felt gay? Or have wondered if they were gay or are trans? Probably very few. So people hate what they don't understand. If it was more understood, I feel like we would be more accepted in Christian communities, and that would be awesome. But I don't see that happening anytime too soon. So yeah, I'm good with God. God's good with me. All's good. So I think I'm going to end the video there. But yeah, if you have any other questions and you want to ask me, just send them my way. Email address is down below. You can add me on Facebook, message me on Facebook, use AskFM, and I will probably do another one of these in a month or so, just to continue answering questions that y'all want to know. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, or you enjoyed listening to me ramble, and hopefully you don't think I'm crazy, like a lot of people apparently do. Thanks for watching. Bye.